later, and the identification is done using a Bluetooth interface whose range is about 90 to 100 meters. And the collected data gives information about the identification of the animal, relative location, and basic movement of the animal. The sensor shown here on the leg of the animal, called ice cube, measures the movements and the rests of the animal. The collected data allow the user to track the standing time, step count, laying time, lying, and so on. The data is collected every 15 minutes, but the device has a memory that can store data up to 3 to 9 days. This sensor here in the stomach of the animal, SMAC-TEC, offers two models of sensors which are swallowed by the animal and remain then during the life cycle of the animal. The standard configuration of these sensors measure a temperature of 0 to 50 degrees every 10 minutes and an activity index of 0 to 100. The life cycle of the built-in battery is 4 years, which is the time period of the life expectancy of a cattle farmed for milk. The sensor is capable of storing the measured values for a period of 6 days. In conclusion, there are various devices and systems which offer different type of measurements and can be used to monitor the life indicators of cattle in a smart farming. The type of cattle needs to be considered before deciding on the right set of sensors for the user, as the different systems track different parameters associated with the aim of the farmed animal. Based on the aim, the way that the animal is farmed also varies. Cattle farmed for milk are kept within an enclosure and are given food in a feeder, while free-range cattle move around the pasture looking for their own food. And usually they are mainly monitored for body temperature, pH, and other parameters within the body. And the development of trackers for life indicators in cattle in real time has been mostly within the last decade. The new technologies give the price of the sensors down, but it's still relatively high for small to medium farms and farmers. Maintaining a large amount of data also comes with a high price. And there is also a risk of getting data that the farmer cannot get the full potential out of due to it's not being concise, and it's important to have a good interpretation of that data, which the farmer can actually understand and use effectively. Currently, there is no information for data transfer of the animal's life indicators between the hardware and the software developers, and that's a problem, as the farmer will always need and be dependent on a developer for the chosen device, and he would not be able to use the data directly, the raw data, by himself, as it needs to be transformed into a suitable way in making it easier to understand by normal people. And lastly, precise farming and the use of Internet of Things offer a new and different way of farming. Data collection from each individual animal allows for individual care for that animal and individual way of farming rather than compulsory farming of a group or a herd. It achieves much more careful monitoring and more precise control over the farming as whole as well. The main aim of these technologies is still using resources effectively, which currently means that they are only used when when, where, and as much as it's needed. And that's our overview of Internet of Things and big data in animal farming. And thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you for your presentation. Dear person, do you have any question about this article? Okay, no question. Thank you again. I wish you success in your career.
Thank you.
The next paper belongs to Tventanka, Georgieva. Are you ready to present? Can you hear me? There was a problem, maybe. Dear Carl Repman. Okay.
Carl's here.
Okay, you can start if you are ready.
Sure, you're more than happy to.
Excuse me for
Sorry.
Okay.
Dear Tvestanka Georgieva, if you are ready, you can continue.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Carl Repman.
I have a problem with the connection, excuse me.
Okay, okay. You can continue.
I'm Tsvetanka Georgieva, and we are from University of Veliko Tarnovo. Our paper is about research problems and methods in big data analytics for knowledge discovery from customer feedback.
Sorry, you have 10 minutes, please.
Excuse me?
You have 10 minutes, please.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Online product reviews can potentially provide important information about customer satisfaction, customer agility, and product design, predicting the helpfulness of user reviews and product recommendation. For discovering this information, methods for big data analytics are applied. The present study aims to summarize the big data analytics methods used to solve mentioned problems. This table contains summary information about the considered problems which are most often found in the studied literature sources, methods for big data analytics through which a solution is sought and proposed, and the main sources on which big data analytics algorithms are applied corresponding to the selected big data analytics tasks. This part of the table is about customer satisfaction. The next part of the table is about customer agility and product design. And this part of the table is about predicting the helpfulness of user reviews and product recommendation. The following conclusions can be drawn from the study on the specifics of the knowledge discovery process from customer feedback. They can be useful in choosing the appropriate methodology for its implementation. The first conclusion is that we have to work with big data. We mainly collect feedback in text form, but in some cases, additional data are used. The next conclusion is that data preprocessing is required in order to represent data in a form suitable for the respective algorithms. The next conclusion is that combined application of different methods is required in order to solve a specific problem. And the next conclusion is that the selected algorithms need testing for different data representations and optimization by adjusting the parameters. Consequently, the implementation of the process leads to a complex project, which on the one hand to have clearly defined goals and assigned tasks, and on the other hand to allow their iterative implementation. We have considered methodologies for data mining process implementation. The first methodology is a cross-industry standard process for data mining. It describes common approaches used by experts in problem solving through data mining. The life cycle of the big data analytics process considers the stages as sequential. The data analytics stage is iterative in order to find a suitable model for performing a research analysis. The next methodology is data science edge. It defines a model of the big data analytics process extending CRISP-DM by adhering to flexible methodologies. And the last methodology is team data science process. It is flexible, iterative methodology for data science to provide effective data analytics solutions. This methodology aids teamwork improvement and training. This table represents a comparison of the stages defined in considered methodologies as part of the data analytics process lifecycle. The characteristics of TDSP methodology correspond to the established features of the process of knowledge discovery from customer feedback. Therefore, based on it, a framework for adapting the big data analytics process of knowledge discovery from customer feedback is proposed, which includes the following stages: data understanding, data acquisition and understanding, modeling, deployment, and customer acceptance. This figure lists the most frequently discussed problems in the examined studies and the data used to solve them. The main conclusions from our research can be summarized as following. The first conclusion is that the research problems are summarized, as well as the chosen methods for big data analytics and data sources. Recent methodologies for big data analytics are studied. A framework for adapting a big data analytics process is proposed to support extracting useful information from customer feedback in accordance with TDSP methodology. And the last conclusion is that the proposed framework aims to assist data scientists in projects for the development of intelligent applications designed for big data analytics in the knowledge discovery from user feedback. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Dear participants, do you have any questions about this article? Okay, no question. Thank you again. I wish you success. Dear Karl Redman, I apologize for the inconvenience earlier. If you are ready, you continue your presentation, please.
Very well, sir. And you're more than fine. I understand. And certainly. So whoops, I'm sorry. And share the screen.
You have 10 minutes per page.
Yes,
per paper.
No, thank you, sir.
Okay.
And it looks like we're running a little behind, so I'll try to speed it up to make certain that I get us back on schedule. And so good evening, everyone, even though I'm tempted to tell you all good morning because that's where it is on my time. The first paper that I wish to discuss with everyone is the investigation and defense of Bluetooth security vulnerabilities. And excuse me, essentially, we were looking at Bluetooth devices and how they can be compromised in various ways, and which can lead to loss of data. And a lot of times hackers, opt for disclosure threats, integrity of the system, or just denial of being able to use the actual device. These are important for us because they have threats in terms of tampering with user data. And we looked at 4 different processes. We looked at bluejacking, blue smacking, blue snarling, and social engineering. So in recent years, Bluetooth devices have been the center of smart technology evolution. And so by pairing with other devices, hackers are able to get access into target systems and compromise the data. If you're not aware, Bluetooth is wireless technology. It's been around for a good amount of years. It works within a small range, less than 100 meters. And it's often used to pair mobile devices, with earbuds, your cars, a smart fridge. In fact, my neighbor next door has it paired with their speakers, so I get to hear her music when she's outside in the pool. As I said, it's been around for a few years, launched in 2000. Bluepoint 2.0 was installed in 2004. Easier to use than the original version. In fact, by the way, just real quick, if you'd raise your hand, have you used Bluetooth? Okay, a lot of people have, and it's actually been made very, very easy. Thank you, Mohammed. Particularly with a lot of these things, you hit a button. I had to do went to visit my family up in Minnesota, got a rental car, and had to use Bluetooth to pair my phone if I wanted to use anything off of it. Actually, I had to use it for the radio. And so, yeah, then we had 4.0, and most devices are using 5.0. And these are also being, put back into Bluetooth, being interacted with Internet of Things. So, and I don't know if you saw any of Bluetooth. I'm sorry about that. And so, but as I was going to say, I don't know if there's any Bluetooth used in the IoT and animal farm. That was a very interesting use. I hadn't thought about that before. But going quickly, here's just some of the literature review that we did. Lanzetta, we referenced that article because they discussed different Bluetooth protocols that can be used. In fact, some of these were basically how we made the foundation for our testing. Zing and Lang analyzed Bluetooth wristbands and looked at the security measures in that. And they noted that data exchange formats were a security concern because they can be intercepted in the system, and that was a main point. So in this particular case, we're going to tell you kind of what we did with the Bluetooth security problems and the vulnerabilities, and basically talk about how we conducted different types of attacks. So as I said, we had 4 different attacks. So we did the Blue Smack DOS attack. This is cyber attack done on Bluetooth enabled devices. It uses the L2 CAP, logical link and adaptive protocol layer, to basically transfer an oversized packet to the Bluetooth devices, which basically results in shutting down and denial of service. We tested bluejacking, and it's a method where hackers can send unsolicited message using the OBEX protocol and can send unwanted sounds, videos, and other Bluetooth enabled devices. Has anybody received any kind of weird random text to you with some kind of link on your cell phones? Yeah, I see. So it's becoming a lot more common out here, and I get frustrated because it'll come up, and the challenge out here is like, it comes up and you have no choice but to read it. And well, I mean, it doesn't. Unfortunately, right now it's not to the point where it opens up automatically, but it will get there. We looked at blue snarfing. Blue snarfing is use of Bluetooth connection to steal information from wireless devices. And then my favorite is social engineering. Out here in California, we're close to the home company base of Apple, and so we always get all kinds of phone calls saying that my Apple system's been compromised, even though I primarily am doing Windows-based products and Linux. And my apologies, I forgot to tell you that I had one of my co-authors part of the presentation. He's not here on the phone call, but it was coming up and I got surprised with this come up. But he's going to tell us more about how the other attack was done on this one.
Dale Carr,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there any problem?
Then, yeah. So basically, here's the results on that. As you can see, it performed different ways, and so there's the end of that one. So let me go to the other paper. Sorry about that.
Okay.
And so the second paper we did was we looked at a Windows reverse TCP attack on out-of-date machinery. And we just looked at security details and we tested on a Windows 10 machine running 1511. We examined tools to create a reverse TCP virus. We discussed how generating the virus, how to generate the virus using those tools. And then we showed what can be done to the target machine, which was done through a Kali Linux machine. Okay, and see. And so basically, computers are everywhere. And so in this particular case, we were kind of looking into the situation where, your machines always need to be updated, regardless of those Windows, and Apple does it, almost automatically. And we say, have you gotten in the habit of clicking, remind me later? And that's kind of where this foundation, came from, where it's like the update comes at a time. In fact, one of my other machines right now wants me to do an update on Office software, and I had to make the PowerPoint presentation. So I'm like, no, I don't have time. So the adoption of computer resources, is across the globe, makes it vital to secure the data for those who want to steal from it and who seek to steal it. And penetration testing is one method to combat threats from hackers. It allows us to probe new and existing software to attempt to break it before it releases. And this allows developers to detect and secure vulnerabilities before hackers have a chance to employ it. Again, one of the biggest instances where software falls out is when it falls out of date and places systems at risk and data to be exploited and data at risk. And again, one of the reasons it falls out of date is people fail to secure the security updates when it's necessary. It's perilous in both business and personal environments. And often one of the reasons too is like I just said before, sometimes the updates come in a moment in life where it's just not, able to, it's not just inconvenient, you're just not able to do it, you have other things going. And all of a sudden the warnings, you just become so prevalent that you just subconsciously blends into the background. And then it becomes part of the startup routine. Your computer starts up, so it needs to be updated. I'll click, we'll get it the next time. And it's these habits and tendencies that are detrimental to computer security because updates are important. And see where I'm at. And if you don't happen, you could find yourself in a situation like HBO did in 2017. Game of Thrones got hacked, where their data was, stolen. Their scripts actually were held at ransoms of millions of dollars, and HBO was in a very difficult, position. Did they pay? And I believe they actually paid out a little bit on that one. So real quickly, I'm going to go over some of the past works that we did regarding Windows, Macs, and Linux regarding security and testing. Talk about the testing and then try to finish it up. And I'm keeping mindful on the better time on this one. The Hollick and all, outlined best tools and aids for penetration testing. They used a multi-approach to penetration testing to use Nmap and Metasploit for payload generation exploitation. And this served as a guideline for the methodology of this study. Then we looked at a paper that talked about vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. It illustrated how this helps an organization to assess security techniques and very helpful for data security, especially if it follows up with management support and cyber awareness program. And I just want to stress, the two main components that are going on with the information security is you have a technical component where it can be exploited, but it's just as equally the human component, whether it's us, again, not doing the updates or management not supporting it. And in the case of information security, remember, it's the one thing in life where, when you're successful, nothing happens. And so therefore, it's not like you go and, in a sporting event where you score and you have that big, moment where everybody cheers. This is just nothing happens. Then we look, Dennis and Zena and Haid, did penetration testing on private networks, and listing the different defenses. And then social engineering. Again, social engineering is where, you are, convinced by somebody that a threat is real and that you need to give up, access to your computer and allow them to go and act. And they present themselves as a white angel trying to help you out of your scenario, but really they mean to do you harm. And they can pose as a telephone employee. They can spoof someone's number, fake pop-up windows, fake text messages. They can fake chat rooms. Very, very scary. And so Razak, Hugh, Ahmad, and Masood presented a survey in a variety of security threats. Cybercrime differs from real crime, other real crimes. First, it's easier to do because you're in front of a computer. It's not like you have to have a threat of breaking into a building or something. People can pose, can impersonate anybody they want because there's no way. And if I don't have my screen showing up, you don't know who I am, and it could be just anybody. And with voice impersonation things. And so some solutions are vulnerability scanners, intrusion protections, detection systems, and they highlighted some challenges for it. Metasploit is a framework to create and deliver a TCP virus. You can use it. It contains 613 exploits and 215 payloads. At the time that we wrote the paper, there might be more going on right now. And it's important to secure data because a novice user can become dangerous in less than a day with the software. So it's really, really easy to go and learn. In fact, there's many, you can do a YouTube search on how to become a hacker in no time at all. Malware instance settings, and so you can change the headers in it. Cross-scripting in Linux attacks. Cross-scripting is really dangerous because that's where people get remote access through forums on your websites. So WordPress is an attack that's able to obtain usernames. And then, of course, Linux users have to be careful of downloaded programs because getting into, file access permission is pretty huge. And of course, more in social engineering, effectiveness of popular social engineering awareness training methods. Businesses can help with best training programs. Employees get complacent, so they need reminders, from time to time. Going real fast to finish this thing up, what we did was we used the Kali Linux free open source penetration system using the Metasploit framework, Armitage, Burp Suite, John the Ripper, and we created a bootable USB drive with a persistent save feature that allows the user to take a Kali Linux anywhere and deploy it as needed. The Metasploit framework, again, is extensive testing. We talked about it. And so what we did was we identified an out-of-date Windows machine version 15.11 that disallows security updates for the machine operating system. As I said, right now it's the most common operating system deployed. And in fact, if you weren't aware, they've actually released Windows 11. I'm getting, messages from Microsoft to put that in. We found a machine that had a message saying after 2017 will no longer support this version and won't receive critical service, updates. So we did it that way. And so as you can see, here's a picture of the error. We booted in Kali Linux in our 10 machine, and we began our attack by launching the Metasploit framework and entering this command. And basically the command specified that we want to use MSF Venom, and we want to, send up a payload virus. After it happened, it created this virus called virus.exe. We saved it under the root user, exported it to a thumb drive, put it on the Windows machine, and then the Windows machine brought up saying, hey, something's wrong with the drive. And how many times have you put in a USB drive, says something's wrong with it, and you just, you just dismiss and say, it doesn't matter, run anyways. This should not automatically delete the virus, which it didn't, and allow it to copy to the thumb drive to the desktop, which we did. And once it was transferred, we returned to the Kali Linux machine. We used the Metasploit framework to allow it to receive transmissions from the virus on the Windows 10 machine. Here's the code that we use. And then next thing you know, here's the code again. And from this point, we had access to the victim's machine. So as long as I do not shut down or log off, we can then all of a sudden get in, create a user account hacker with the word password 1. And now this new user is promoted to administrator and the remote desktop groups, and we can have loads of fun. And so we use Ramina as our Kali Linux remote access software. And as you see, this poses security risks to the user and the organizations. Almost anything can be done through the command line interface. We could erase computer's hard drive, multiple database drives. We can, prevent access to data. We can impersonate a user, alter files, all kinds of stuff. And here's it visually. And so conclusion, a simple attack like this can have disaster consequences for both the individual and at home and organizations, company. We can also then put in stuff as key logging, which allows us to get even more usernames and passwords. And we could actually do a situation where we just sit there and lay dormant for a long time and just remain hidden until there was some data that we wanted to get. And so this illustrates dangers of out-of-date machinery, which shows you Windows 10 is ultimate. And we're meant to demonstrate the importance of maintaining an updated machine. Now it can easily be compromised. Lastly, this was simple, but we already said this. And yeah, this opens the door to other stuff, ransomware, botnets, and crypto mining. And lessons learned can be followed up by an organization by offering continuing courses, mock attacks, and companies should document communicates results of special adherence to the policies. Because remember, this is not just the technology, but also we have to train people in their how they have in their work habits and whatnot. And with that, I ended it right there and stop sharing. And any other questions? There we go.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Dear participants, do you have any question about this article? Okay, no question. Thank you again. I wish you success, Mr. Karyapman.
Thank you.
Next paper belongs to Forat Fali Hassan. Dear Forat Fali Hassan, are you ready to present?
Yes, I am ready, sir. That's why I will share my screen. So
That's your presentation.
now my screen is clear for you?
Yes.
Yes. I am the presenter of the paper by the title Data Transformation from the SQL to NoSQL Mongo Database based on R programming language. The first thing, the data storage has been continuous, the major difficulties for all the humans from its history. Database discovers and founded to replace, address the issue of the file system that lead to the redundancy and consistency of the data. In light of this, database can be divided in two main categories. The first category is the SQL and the NoSQL, and the quite different between the models and the structure of the two systems. So the data is considered the heart of each business, and the major important parts of this paper is the data transformation from the SQL to NoSQL databases. The main idea of our paper is to provide an environment to transform the data from the two different environments, from the SQL to the NoSQL database, and meet the data quality issues. The main two data quality issues that address in our paper is the data integrity and data completeness when I transfer the data from one system to another. Our idea is based on three parts. The first part is the first ETL. The ETL is the full format of the extract, transform, and load. So in my papers or my project, I have two ETL phases. The first ETL phase, middle environment, and the second ETL phase. The first ETL phase is related to the source database. Each ETL is consists of the 5 main components: the data source system, and the data, extracting the data, transforming the data, loading the data into the target database. So the first ETL phase, ETL, is considered with the my source system, and the my source system is the SQL databases. And the middle environment is based on what? On the R programming language to provide an analyzing and storage for the data from the source system, and can be injected directly to the what? To the my target database systems and NoSQL. And my NoSQL's example is Mongo database. In this part, I have two. In the first ETL, I have two parts. The first ETL, the first algorithm and the second algorithm. The first algorithm is used to set up the connection with the MySQL databases. And the second algorithm is the extracting, transforming, and loading. I extract the desired data from the source system, MySQL database, and transform and store it in the middle environment. As I mentioned before, my middle environment is based on R programming language. So in the third parts, in the second ETL, I have three algorithms there. The first algorithm is used to connect with the my middle environment. So the my middle environment, as I told you, is the R programming language. So I set up the connection between the Mongo database and middle environment, my middle environment. So using what? Using the first algorithm. The second algorithm is developed to use the data transformation as original. So how I extracted the data, I stored the data in middle environment as original. How stored in MySQL, I transformed exactly without any change to my middle environment. So after using this one, the second algorithm, when I'm using the second algorithm, all the data as original, I can be transformed to the target database system is my Mongo database. We developed the third algorithm, provide that desired data transformation. What do I mean by the desired data transformations? All the data in middle environment, I can apply different operations such as grouping data, filtering data, and packaging the data according to the data transformation requirement. After that, when I make my operations or desired operations on the stored data in the middle environment, I can transform it to the direct to the my target database, and my target database is Mongo database. As I mentioned, two ETLs is there. The first ETL is interact with my source database system, and the second ETL is interact with my target database, and the middle environment is the core of my models, the core of my works. Why I mentioned the core of why I mentioned the middle environment? In my examples here, I take it one database system. For example, I take it only my SQLs. So in another examples, or when I want to develop my works, I can take more than one source database. For example, Oracle, SQLs, all the types of relational database. So I can provide a proper and secure environment to transform the data from the different source system to the target database system using using my middle environment. In light of this, as a conclusions, this study proposed a method of transformation data from the SQL database to NoSQL database. As I told you before, from the SQL database to NoSQL database, I provide a suitable environment to provide a data transformation with the meeting of the data quality requirement. It is served to foundation to the basically. Why I am using the R environment here? Why I'm using the R environment as a middle environment? R environment I'm using as a middle environment provide me a different and a functions and free libraries and package to support different data analyzing and providing a different operations on the stored data. After that, I can transform the data to the target database. And another functions that provided by R programming language is the R can interact, can provide us connections and data handling and managing for all the types of the SQL database and NoSQL database. In light of this, when I want to extend my work in the future works, I will add more than one target database systems there, not only Mongo and Coach database, different NoSQL databases. And that's it. If any questions there, I am ready for the questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Is there any question the participants can ask to Mr. Fırat Hasan? Okay, no question. Thank you again. I wish you success in your career.
Thank you a lot, sir. Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Next paper belongs to Mihaela Asenova. Dear Mihaela Asenova is online.
Yes, but my colleague is pregnant and now she's giving birth, so I will present this paper for.
Okay, no problem, please.
Okay.
You have 10 minutes. You can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. I will talk about the evaluation of an electrical infrastructure of an existing building and economic and environmental benefits of its modernization. I will try to summarize the benefit of upgrading existing building service system and more specifically the existing electrical systems. Okay. As you know, in the last years, there is an increased awareness of high importance of energy efficiency in buildings, not only to limit a carbon emission, but also to meet the regulatory and planning requirements. Retrofit for energy efficiency is no longer undertaken in isolation from the other drivers, and consideration relating to building optimization. Examples include well-being and confirm of the occupants, their health and productivity, future conform, flexibility and adaptability of services and maintenance due to the vast amount of new technologies. The benefits of refurbishment are wide and can include a change in use of building, attract tenants that are able to afford higher rents, assist advertising the building, create more lettable for space, etc. So from engineering point of view, refurbishment of building services system can be driven by the age and condition of the building services equipment. Outdated and inefficient plant will compromise the efficient operation of the building. Retrofitting some of or all of the building services system can provide reduce energy consumption, of course, CO2 emissions, also reducing heat output from the equipment, which will correspondingly reduce the demand for cooling, hence the energy consumption. Also easier access for inspection and maintenance, also improved supply of spare parts. The main purpose of building services solutions are to create and maintain a comfortable environment. The building that we examine is made up to basement levels. Prior refurbishment, the building was made up of multiple A1 retail units at the ground floor, with the majority of the floor area allocated to a large A1 retail and unit spanning basement, ground, mezzanine levels. How we do the survey? A building services condition survey, in fact, is a systematic process for evaluating the condition of plant and installations. The survey carried out established whether the plant and installations are capable of continually supporting business needs and the legal requirements in the medium and long term. Visual survey has been carried out to the existing electrical installation. In addition to this, all existing records for maintenance and upgrade to the system has been reviewed. Further to a survey, a load estimate has been done based on manufacturer's labels on existing mechanical plant. It has been determined that the mechanical plant currently in use is old and the power consumption is greater than the modern one. More efficient mechanical plant as pumps, stirrers, air handling units, exact fans, etc., Overall, the outcome of the survey was that the building needs to refurbish its building services to overcome the issue with their inefficiency and extended the life of the installation. Okay. As you can see, there we give the single line diagram of the existing installation and what we done after the now after our study. We're focusing on power factor correction. The PFC unit consists multiple 55 to 50 kVAR ampere unit stages to suit the required QVR to be connected. The unit stage is controlled by integral contactor. System harmonics and the capacitor equipment is specified on the highest quality and be selected accordingly with appropriate system voltage to minimize possible damage. On power failure, the units reset and the capacitor is disconnected. On power restoration, the units start reconnect after a short adjustable time delay. About the low voltage switch gear, we install new low voltage switch gear, which replace the existing one. We also install distribution boards, which are equipped with an incoming double pole switch and outgoing miniature circuit breaker. The boards is split type and low separate energy consumption meter for lighting and small power. We also changed the high voltage supply distribution public utility supply. The reason for this is to provide the resilience in case of transformer failure or power outage in the existing substation in lieu of using a generator. We install also building management system. Each plant item is controlled via outstation, which carry out the control functions specific to that plant. Also, the existing the BMS is modified so that hours run logging, space temperature, logging and energy usage, monitoring strategies as necessary to operate and control the mechanical and electrical services installation. We also upgrade daylight harvesting. As you know, the term daylight harvesting is used in the building control industry for control system that reduce electric light in building interior when daylight is available. Daylight harvesting, which we take advantage of naturally available light, is a key energy saving strategy. And using this, we achieve 20% reduction of used energy. We also add this system for facility management. And the key of this efficient management is to gain a sound understanding of how the building is meant to work, both strategic and detailed levels. Also set out a clear energy management policy and strategy alongside a clear maintenance policy for the building and the building services, and implement these policies rigorously. As a conclusion, I can say that this case study has shown that modernization of electrical installation of its own would not increase energy efficiency to the desired level, but it should be designed and allowed for integration with additional non-engineering solutions like energy monitoring and facility management systems. Develop lighting design to suit the purpose of use of the premises, and use the benefits of natural daylight where possible. To benefit the most from the electrical plant replacement and modernization, both landlord and the end user shall work together and follow strictly energy management and maintenance programs. And last but not least, attention shall be paid to occupants' behavior, identify peak and off-peak building occupancy hours, and use that information in order to implement appropriate energy control measures. So thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'm at your disposal to answer them.
Thank you for your presentation. Dear participant, do you have any question about the paper? Okay, no question. Thank you again. I wish you success.
Thank you very much.
Veselin Çobanov. The next paper is the last paper of the session. Mohammed Mehdi Tobe are ready to present.
Yes, I'm present. Yeah.
Okay, you can present if you are ready.
Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed Mehdi Toubai. I am graduate student at Concordia Institute for Information Systems Engineering in Montreal, Canada. Actually, this is part of the bigger project, which is about understanding geographical patterns of collaboration, specifically scientific collaborations in AI field among different researchers around the world. The first part of this project is focused on Canadian AI researchers. So the first topic is about the importance of collaboration. Based on the different literature that we have, collaboration is a key driver of scientific output and performance. It also facilitates the production of new knowledge. And also we know that knowledge production has a positive effect on long-term economic growth. So there's a bunch of literature and articles about the importance of scientific collaboration. That's why different policy makers around the world are trying to encourage scientific collaboration, even among researchers who are physically and geographically far away from each other at different level, regional level, national level, even international level. For example, we had Horizon 2020 program, which was a very big and ambitious program in Europe to encourage far and distance collaboration between researchers. So the main idea was to tackle the problems and actually obstacles of long distance collaboration. But the main question here would be, is funding long distance collaboration efficient? Is it good to fund long-term collaboration between different researchers? If you want to answer that question, we need to actually focus on different aspects or different determinants of collaboration, specifically geographic collaboration. We know that based on different literature during recent decades, we know that geography is and always has been one of the main impediments to collaboration for different researchers around the world. So, but the main question here would be, despite communication and transportation developments during recent decades, is geography still an impediment to collaboration? Many may argue that we expect to see geography not to be a big impediment to collaboration, because we had very great advancement in communication technology, transportation technology. So geography should not be the case anymore for collaboration. We need to study this, whether geography is still important or not. The other thing would be that the other concept, the other research question could be, can network proximity substitute geographical proximity? It means that we are not able to deal with geography, right? Geography is not something that you can change it easily. You cannot push researchers to physically approach each other, right? So they are in different parts of the world. But if we can substitute geographic proximity with other forms of proximity, for example, network proximity, maybe we can deal with this problem somehow. And that way, maybe funding long distance collaboration would be meaningful and would be actually efficient. So to study this research question, we focus on, in the first part of this project, we focus on Canadian authors in the field of AI. and all their publication between 2000 and 2019. We extracted the articles or the articles in this field, in the field of AI, by Canadian authors from Elsevier's Scopus. Then we chose co-publication as the actually proxy for collaboration based on different articles. We know that co-publication can be one of the good measures for actually collaboration. So actually, as you can notice here, the dependent variable is a binary variable, which is one for collaboration. If two authors had any collaboration during that period, then we assign 1 to that collaboration. If they didn't have any collaboration, we assign 0. Then we had a couple of independent variables. We want to study the effect of those independent variables on a co-publication. The first and most important parameter and independent variable here is geographical distance. And for the sake of this study, we chose the direct actually distance between any two researchers in Canada in kilometers. So we had the actually data of the affiliation. We used some Google Map APIs to extract the geographical location and then calculate the distance between each pair of authors. Then we had the network proximity. In this study, we used the total expected number of bridging passes as a proxy for network proximity. This methodology is introduced by actually Berg in 2017. In this way of actually measuring network proximity, we are using indirect actually links between authors as their network proximity. When they have more indirect or common co-authors with each other, it means that they have more and higher level of network proximity. The next independent variable in this study is institutional proximity. As you can notice so far, we are focusing on the concept of proximity. We have different aspect of proximity, geographical proximity, network proximity, and also institutional proximity. Institutional proximity is mainly about the factors that can affect researchers or agents who are working under the same national systems, or in countries like Canada, provincial systems. So we assign a binary variable for institutional proximity that gets 0 if they are if two authors are in the same province, or 1 if they are in these two different provinces. Also, we included regional dummies to capture the effect of regional math. And also we consider another, based on the literature, we chose another independent variable, which is the top regions. It means that if two researchers are from top regions with higher level of collaboration, we assign 1, in the other case 0. So this would be our models. We have 2 models here. The first model is just measuring the direct effect of those independent variables like geographical proximity, network proximity, and so on and so forth on the scientific collaboration. The other model in the right side is showing whether geographic proximity has any. We are going to investigate the interaction between geographic proximity and network proximity and scientific collaboration. So here we have kind of moderating variable for geographic proximity. If you look at the result for the correlation, we will see obviously there is a negative correlation between geographical distance and co-publication, which is expected. There's a positive correlation between network proximity and collaboration, which is also expected. If you want to, we used logistic regression to analyze this model because our dependent variable is a binary variable. So we use logistic regression to analyze the model. The results show that, as you can see, there is a negative and significant coefficient here for geographical distance. And it clearly shows that geography is still among the main impediments, despite all the advancement in communication and transportation technology during recent decades. Geography is still the main barrier for scientific collaboration. In the second groups of models, we try to add some interactions between geographical distance or geographic proximity and network proximity. In the model 3, in the middle column, as you notice, there is a positive relationship between the interaction term and the dependent variable, which is the collaboration, but it is not significant. It is not significantly different from 0. So we tried another actually experiment here. We included the interaction between the network proximity and institutional proximity, because here institutional proximity is for different provinces, so it is reflecting the other type of geographical proximity here. As you can see here, there is a significant and positive relationship between the interaction of network proximity and different provinces on actually dependent variable, suggesting that when authors are from different provinces, the role of network proximity is much more important. When they are from same provinces, then the role of network proximity on collaboration is lower. In conclusion, first, despite all revolutionary developments in transportation and communication technology, geography is still among the main impediments to scientific collaboration. Second, we found a substitutability pattern between different provinces and network proximity. Again, means that when two agents, two authors are from different provinces, the role of network proximity between them is much more important. And third, this study has a very important implication from the policymaking point of view. In vast countries like Canada, when you support long distance collaboration, then you may increase the indirect connections among researchers, which in turn will trigger new national collaboration. So it means that in a nutshell, we can say that yes, funding distance collaboration can have a good output. And then for future work, we are going to extend the study to North America and then entire world. We are going to have to add cognitive proximity to the model, which is important. Cognitive proximity is based on the background and based on the knowledge base of these different authors. And also we are going to use machine learning classification to predict the future of collaboration. These are the references that I used in this presentation. The full list of references are available in the article, obviously. And this is my email address. I would be super happy if you have any question, I will answer the questions. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Dear participants, do you have any question about this article? Okay, no question. I wish you success. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Muhammad Mehdi.
Thank you.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for your attention. The session is complete. I want to end the session. I hope to see you at the symposium we will organize next year. I wish you a good evening.
Thank you.
I wish you success.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Good evening.